Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
I'm happy to be here. All right. On becoming a clear channel. So let's start with, just like no two snowflakes hold exactly the same pattern, no two humans are going to communicate with the unseen in the exact same way. We hold our unique path, our soul stories, and our bodies their own unique ecosystem. I like to say that communication with energy or the unseen is like a foreign language, and that if you are a translator for a book of poems or a novel and are all given the same text to translate, each one of you would have a slightly different take on the way a sentence reads. It's why it's so important to find the healers, teachers, guides, energy workers that speak a similar language, one that will never be exactly the same as yours, but complements your own. And it's for this reason, no one is a better channel for you than you. So, what do we call ourselves when we're reading energy or receiving messages? These titles, I feel, get thrown around a lot. And just so that I know me and you are speaking the same language, I want to share two definitions that I learned from one of my own healers and teachers and help me understand the difference in the types of energy I was reading and messages I was receiving. So first is a psychic intuitive. It's when you're perceiving information from someone else's energy field they're emitting. A psychic medium is when you're receiving messages, download signs, energy from the unseen and higher realms of consciousness. And like most in our culture, I always thought a psychic medium was someone who communicates with dead people. And while we can do that, the word medium, I read in Julia Cameron's Vein of Gold, actually means the communication between. And the way I've come to experience it is our bodies are actually the medium. For me, these two blend and feel very similar, but for others, maybe not. So it's important to keep in mind as you get more clear on how you best perceive and receive. But for tonight, I focus on receiving, or the psychic medium. So I like to share that while I've spent the last decade building out the vast architecture of my own mind, the truth is that for most of my life, I thought I lacked imagination, like I didn't have one. No inner landscape to mine, no inner voice to listen to. I've come to a couple of theories as to the why behind this. One you all might relate to is being an attuned, sensitive child with a vast sight and knowing, and being too scared and too overwhelmed to process the energy of others, the energy of the unseen. Like I received too well, I received too much, all of it, with no filtration system. And so in order to feel safe, bit by bit, I created doors and shut them. I unconsciously created effective shields that blocked my sight and blocked my inner knowing, while also not giving me the practice on how to receive without sacrifice, without costing me something in return. Another theory for the why behind this for me was because I never spent any time fostering my relationship to self. It was always about the other. I was who I was by how I was in relation to another. I like to say I was always my mother's, but never really my own. And then my mother died, and I became a mother of my own. And I realized I actually had a lot to say. It's just that my words, they'd always gone to being in conversation with her, but she was gone. And in order to really live, I had to learn how to be in conversation with myself, which began a decades-long spiral journey of gathering and mending and reclaiming my parts, my mind, my body, and my soul. I just got dinged, so I think someone else is here. Okay. Okay, so I want to share this fun story, real time. This is in real time. Last night, I was reading over this and making some changes and practicing, and I just had finished reading that last paragraph about being my mother's but not being my own. And right after I finished it, the left side of my head, my scalp, lit up with goose pricks. I say pricks because it's almost like a sea urchin unfurling its quills in a good way. It felt really nice. And it was progressive. The goose pricks, they intensified and then they sort of spread down the left side of my face and shoulder. And here's my real-time process with receiving. The sensation was very, very clearly energy that was not my own. So I stopped what I was doing, closed my eyes, took a breath, felt into it further and said, "Hi, who are you?" I started toggling through my mind quick flashes of some of my more recent guides because I often won't know immediately who's present. Sometimes I'll ask, "Are you a new guide or one I'm familiar with?" And that can help point me in the direction for us to meet in the in-between and communicate. So after a few guides, I landed on my mother, which is a new thing for her to come through for me and her communicating this way. She died over 12 years ago and has only come through maybe once through another healer 5 years ago. There's a reason behind this, one of which is any pattern you played out with a loved one when they were alive can definitely travel into the same pattern once they're back to spirit. So for me, with our codependency and our enmeshment and identifying with her so intensely, the separation, though incredibly painful, was for a very long time, was necessary for me to become my own. But she'd come last night to celebrate. She was like, "Look, Jazzy, look at what you've created. You did this, you built you. Look how far you've come. Look at the story you're able to share and ownership." It's a celebration. So it was really a sweet moment. Now, I'm going to tell you, at the end of October, she came through for the first time. So that was yesterday, that way. Back in October, I was composing an email to Allison to tell her that I couldn't be live at the Sound Academy that weekend. And I pulled up a new email on my phone, and I'm going to show you how she came through this way. Instead of a draft, which it should have been, these pictures loaded of her and my dad at their wedding, some family photos. Now, these had been in my phone, and I'd sent them, whatever, months, years ago. But they were not in a draft. And this time they came up and I was like really paused. I was in my, I was like, "That's weird. Huh, okay." Instead of just deleting it or ignoring it or exiting out of it, which I could have easily done, cast it away as a glitch, I paused and really gazed at the pictures in a way I hadn't in a long time. I saw how young and vibrant and healthy and sound of mind my parents looked, and that within the inner work and inner child work and the shadow work, we can get really twisted into all the awful traumatic things that happened to us as children, and even into adulthood and our parents' inability to show up in the way we'd like them to. But this night, I was in my daughter's bed, waiting for her to get done with her night routine. It was just her twinkle lights and a beeswax candle for lighting. I just smoke cleansed the room. It was clear and calm. I was soft. I was tired. I was comfortable. So I'm taking the moment and I'm gazing through these photos and am hit so intensely with this feeling. And I whisper, "It wasn't all bad, Mom, was it? It wasn't all bad." And then my left ear, it flutters like wings, like a flutter of hummingbird wings right over my left ear. It was like a soft brush. my left ear popping or other sensations. There's another cue that spirits are trying to connect, but this flutter, I'd never felt it before. Except this time I didn't need to toggle through possible spirit guides. I asked, Mom? And there she was. I wanted to tell you those two different stories because there's really no one way it always happens. And we wouldn't want that to be true, because it wouldn't be like every day and you say hi Bob, and he is hi Jasmine, and then you have the same exact conversation every hi Bob. It would be so, it's just not not fun, but it's not reality. It's not human. It's not how we communicate. And so it's also not spirit. So there's these variations, and it's like any relationship. It changes. All right. So there's many ways to become and then continue to foster using your body as its rightful roles as the vessel, the record keeper, to use it as the access point to the beyond, a clear channel to receive, and then maybe the more important part, to trust yourself with the messages you do receive, to create environments that support your relationship and communication to the unseen, what I call capital S, spirit and your intuitive senses, and little s, spirits or your guides. And then never get stuck on the right way or the one way, because like any healthy relationship, like I said, it will change, and you really want it to change, to expand, to take on unexplored depth and reveal new layers. But these are the 5 pillars I've found for myself created a really strong foundation for becoming and then fostering my own clear channel. All right, before I get into the 5, any questions? No? Okay. First, the environment. I found I needed, and I know I'm not alone in this, sensory containment. And of course, none of this is definitive. It changes as you change and grow. But these are the sensory containment pieces that allow me to receive clear messages consistently and ones I can trust in. Lying down. I thought I hated meditation because I'd only heard it instructed as like sitting up or sitting on your knees in silence and letting the thought pass. My body needs to be in a more fluid form, one that can move, bend, stretch. And also my physical body often feels very weighted, and that can be distracting, trying to hold it up while going deep. And lying on solid ground, really being held, is so important. Or I'm not focused on staying upright. As my practice has grown, I can receive messages or go into meditation sitting up, but for those first few years, I had to be lying down. An eye mask or eye covering. So it's completely dark, and my eyes aren't activated is another sensory removal that was necessary for me. Even when it's nighttime and pitch black out, I found placing a towel over my eyes removes my eyes trying to work to see. My physical eyes have no place in the unseen, and so I remove their role, blacking them out. It's like a signal to tell them to rest. Rhythmic sound. Sound has been one of the biggest healers for me and allows me to drop into that theta state very easily and quite quickly. It's the cue for my mind and body that we're going under, we're going into the subconscious while also accessing higher realms. But it also serves a secondary purpose for me in that it distracts the mind while also giving it something to focus on that is not chatter or fear or overriding with logic the visions or messages I do receive. Mental and or physical fatigue. Towards the beginning of my practice, I found I could most easily drop into the subconscious and simultaneously higher realms right before bed because my mind was exhausted from the day. Some people find meditative experiences before bed way too stimulating, but for me, it's the opposite. And I found this naturally opened me as a channel to be able to receive more easily throughout the night and between my sleep cycles. But when my practice really started to access more layered healing, like ancestral work and concurrent life experiences, occurred when I started connecting through the body immediately after exercise. I do at least an hour of the Tracy Anderson method, if any of you are familiar with it. It works my physical body, my emotional body, while also engaging my mind. The instructors don't talk, so I listen to loud music, drop into states of flow often throughout the mat work. And by the end, I've exhausted my body and my mind in a good way. They've worked. I've, if not processed them all, brought emotions that needed attention up to the surface, and I'm already in a natural state of receptivity because I've connected back to myself through movement. I'm also very aware at that point of any physical pain, which is another portal into healing. Since I exercise at home, as soon as the class is over, I'll literally drop down on my mat, put on some binaural beats, cover my eyes, and go into my meditative experiences. All right, that was the environment. Second pillar, the house. One of my favorite understandings I arrived at after circling it for many years in all these different ways until it stuck was the truth that heaven, it's in you. Heaven is in you. It's not some far off place, something outside of yourself to try and achieve. The Garden of Eden, or whatever imagery comes to mind when I say the word heaven, it's literally a place within yourself, connecting mind and soul and universe in and through your body. This means you are the house and you are the home. And just like any house or any home, it needs to be cared for and tended to and infused with your design, aesthetic, delicious meals, abundant joy, love, connectedness, dancing, laughter, ritual. Anything that occurs on the material also needs to occur within yourself on the energetic. And for me, this means building out the architecture of the mind. I want to say again that this is by no means the only place or way to receive clear messages. It's simply a starting point for a much larger conversation. But building out the architecture of the mind also serves a double purpose. You create a home to come back to yourself in, to open back up to your intuitive senses, to receive messages from the unseen, while also giving the mind a very important job. The mind likes having a job. It likes having something to focus on while you do the inner work. It's now contributing to your expansion and playing a very important role as a master builder versus taking away or distracting. Third, the practice. An example I like to use for this that complements the unseen, because it's not physically something you can track with your eyes, like, I don't know, a six-pack or something, is voice and our vocal muscles. When my girls were little, I experienced this for myself. My voice is whatever, it's baseline, it's fine. It's an okay voice. But when they were babies into toddlers, I'd sing. At least a couple hours every day, I'd end up singing. And then one day, maybe 2 years in, I was singing. I think it was like "You Are My Sunshine." And I reached the top of one of the verses, and my tone, my resonance, it had turned into something else. The change was subtle in the way that it occurred, but so noticeable with not only how it sounded, but how it felt inside. My voice was like silky and smooth and full-bodied. The notes came easily without strain. I had more range, more control if I wanted to like warble or oscillate. I had strengthened my vocal muscles with practice day in and day out. My girls grew, and eventually I stopped singing hours every day, and it went back to its baseline. Our sight, it's no different. So this looks like practices strengthening the muscles of your mind into creating your own inner home, into fostering your preferred modes of communication with the unseen, and becoming familiar with your own unique lexicon and language on what particular signs or symbols or colors mean to you. Creating a practice also creates a habit. And once our environment is set, our body and mind become automatically prepped in the art of channeling. When we're becoming a clear channel, we're accessing really the infiniteness of energy. And so with practice provides expansion, our capacity to hold more, to see more, to trust more fully, for layers upon layers to be revealed, because our soul, it's eternal and it's ours, with complete free access to it anytime we desire. There's no beginning nor end to our sight. But practice doesn't mean one and done. It's daily, weekly. It's committing to this life in a particular way, in a commitment to always return home, back to yourself. But this doesn't mean guaranteed downloads. Sometimes we move through the steps. We're seasoned pros. We're confident. We trust. But just like any relationship, the connection doesn't quite hit, or the messages aren't fully formed, or they're missed completely. But with consistency, we allow room for the ups and downs, for really the full expression of this human life. Fourth is the record. There's something very important for me about bringing the unseen back into the material world. This is the same concept behind writing down your synchronicities. What we focus on not only expands, it also signals to ourselves in the unseen that we're here, we're trying, we're taking the relationship seriously, we're acknowledging spirit guides and any sacred wisdom from the universe as we acknowledge ourselves. It allows for the conversation to deepen and widen because we're putting more words, more language, we're putting a concept behind it, that there's more to this world than meets the naked eye. So the record gives this tactile thing to the experience. It also strengthens the connection to your senses and your guides. It serves as a remembrance to reference because once we come back into the material, into our busy, hectic lives, into the loudness of the world, it's really easy to forget what the message is, even were to begin with. This just actually happened to me last night. I got a visitor up in the middle of the night, and it was good. But I don't remember what she said because I didn't write it down. I'll have to check back in with her. It also reinforces that it happened. Once I document an experience with a spirit guide or an exchange with an ascended ancestor or a supernatural being, then it's like it really occurred, and I'm able to trust more fully the next time around. Within this record keeping, you also might start noticing your own patterns of when, where, how you receive, or in what mode your spirit guides come through. In scent, the creak in the wall or stairs, the one particular light in the kitchen that flickers, a specific song or word or phrase. Another thing to mention is that I've had spirit guides return months later if I wasn't able to fully receive them the first time around. So having that record becomes your own book of knowing, your own book to reference. I like to write it out pen to paper, but sending yourself a voice memo works, the Notes app, writing yourself emails, using the speech to text on your computer, doing more of a spreadsheet. There's no right or wrong way to create your record. All right, fifth is the witness. You being the record keeper is also you being the witness, but this kind of witness is from another. I found the work can only go so far with self, and the self witnessing self, and then we need to enter into relationship with another on the material plane. There's a part of us, our human experience, that no matter the occurrences, events, visions, sights, downloads, it still feels unreal or untouchable until we share the experience with someone else who is able to receive the largeness of our being. It also honors our spirit guides or ascended ancestors when we speak their name, when we tell of their stories, their teachings, their lessons. Myth or storytelling to expand consciousness is also at the base of our humanness, and the way of the witness continues the fluid exchange of giving and then receiving and then giving and receiving. This becomes another practice all on its own. The witness will often be a mirror for us. That reflection then offers another key, another opening, or deeper understanding. All right. Any questions on any of that before we go into the meditation? All right. So now I'm going to guide you through becoming a clear channel by building out the architecture of your mind that will access through the body and creating your own worlds you can return to. We're lucky because Allison is going to provide the sound, which will be healing in and of itself. This particular environment I'm guiding you into is something I've been taking myself through for months now. The sequence came to me one day in meditation, and I like to think of it as like almost circuit training. Sometimes I'll go into meditation and try and skip this step. I'll right away just ask my guides or my divine self, maybe a loaded question, or ask them what I need to know, or show me what I need to know, and they'll say, go through your paces, dear one, and then come back and ask. There's more parts to it, but we're going to stop at part 3. I bring in the elements, and water plays the biggest role in part 1 through 3. And 2 things. One is there's a prompt for you in the world you build to scream into the water, into the body of water, if you want. And if it feels right, this is the perfect time to bring it back up into the material and physical and purge and scream into your towel. That was one of the reasons that for the bath towel. So there'll be time for that. And if you're in a safe space, and it can be very, very helpful doing it on both planes simultaneously. And then last, just for a heads up for a trigger warning, there is a prompt to literally go over the waterfall. And so if this feels unsafe for you, don't do it. You can pick back up once we've rebirthed ourselves into the plunge pool below. All right. So if you are in a space where you can lie down, that would be awesome. And put on and cover your eye. Oh, yes. Let's see. Oops.
I can wait until afterwards to ask
No,
the
no, ask
question.
me now.
Ask you now? Okay. All right. I do have a question, because I'm really, really interested in this topic and why I'm here. So I mean, I guess my question is around I had sort of like a traumatic experience happen around like the ending of a relationship last year and sort of been having to, going through it. And often when you're like going through something, that's when you're sort of calling on your ancestors or guides or communicating perhaps, sort of those really essential experiences kind of like bring out perhaps more of like a channel of communication. And so I've been sort of experimenting with like a lot of dream work. Obviously, I've been here with like Allison for a couple of years, and I find it really easy to shift in,
Yeah.
based on sound work. But I've never actually tried. I've received some messages more recently while
Mm-hmm.
shifting into those states, but the
Mm-hmm.
very particular question I have is that lately, I've been asking for certain signs or symbols to
Mm-hmm.
appear, and
Mm-hmm.
something that has sort of started to appear in physical reality
Mm-hmm.
whenever I call upon it is I ask to see deer.
Okay.
And so lately, I mean, I do hike a lot. I go out into nature quite a bit. I never usually ever see deer. But this past year, I tried an experiment where in order to, as almost as like a means of trying to see evidence that there is
Yeah. Yeah.
communication,
Yeah.
I've been asking to see deer, and I am now constantly seeing them. Whenever I think of them, whenever I'm out, I see them
Have you attached it
now.
to a specific God? Like it was the ask from you was like,
Yeah.
I want to know that spirit guides exist or ascended ancestors exist, and if you do send me deer, was that kind of how you
Yeah.
phrased it?
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
Okay.
And I
Well,
don't know where to go from here.
yeah.
And you know what I
Well,
mean? Yeah.
I mean, it's all like nice job on starting and trying, and that's one of the first things they say is to like start asking for specific signs. Honestly, it's doesn't really work for me very well. Like I've tried in all these different ways. Sometimes, and so that it's really like, and yeah, you I think what I would think in your head is you're like, oh, I'm like now really focused on deer, so when I do see it, am I just creating? Yeah, there's always that inner talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that ever goes fully away with symbols, because there is, I mean, unless they're like, I heard this one psychic medium, she said she asked for like pink flamingos. So unless it's like super, super specific, right? Deer is though. And so as far as next step from there, um, I would say that like it's a good question. It's kind of like what you're wanting out of it, I guess, at the end of the day. My first question would be, is there like a specific person that's passed that you want to communicate with? Or do you just want to meet a spirit guide that's in your team in this life? Or like that's sort of like, so do you have any ideas on like what you would want if you could ask for anything?
Yeah, I suppose it's that I'm not looking to communicate with a specific person who has passed. I do have somebody that I sometimes think that I receive messages from who has passed, but um, I think that's what it is more I wanted to open up a relationship with the beyond or communicating
Yeah.
with guides, and I sort of attached it to the symbol of a deer,
Yeah.
basically because I feel that I receive intuitive communications. I don't know how to work with it further.
Yeah.
So I asked it to be tethered to something. And
So when you see the deer on your
Mhm.
hikes, do you stop and
Yeah,
and you stop and you close your eyes and you breathe and you ask to receive?
it seems that they appear exactly in the moment that I receive an inner knowing that I'm going to see one. And then
The
I
deer
do.
comes, but then when you see the deer, do you stop and ask your spirit guides to come forward or any messages to drop down? Do you ask for that next step?
No. So that's a
Okay.
good tip.
So that's what I would say is the next step. It's hard, some of us, so like I don't know if you're familiar with human design, but one of the ways one of the decision makings is to respond. That's what I am. And so it's like a yes no, but we respond. So we need like stimulus to respond to. And so when it's just like, well, just ask your question. It's like, well, I don't, how am I supposed to know what question I'm supposed to ask? So there could be a little bit something like that going on with you too. And so you could even play a this or that game with yourself to kind of prime it. Like just be like, do I want do I want guidance on the next step in my career, or what do I really want to do? I want guidance on this relationship or this pain in my body or like that, and kind of like toggle with yourself and see if you can land on something that you really want more awareness around, or the why we're here, or whatever questions that you have that you want to start communicating. Maybe it's I want, please show me more of my gifts. Like you obviously already have a lot of awareness that you receive. You said you receive intuitive messages. Is it for other people usually?
It can be for other people, but usually I'm able, it's mostly I for myself. But I'm trying to develop a little more of a connection with my own intuition, and sometimes I feel that I can attach to certain energies around people about what might be going on with them, but also I have a little bit of like a maybe a little bit of like premonition capacity, so
Yeah.
I'm trying to work around that mostly around myself. I'll receive premonitions of certain
And then
things.
do those become a hindrance to you? Like, do you start fearing it when they come?
Sometimes, yeah.
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 So there's a reason, like it's on purpose. So premonition is for sure a thing. It's not something I it's not like one of my predominant gifts. When you start flexing these muscles, what I found, because people would say like, oh, I'm whatever, is claircognizant and like that. I do believe that we have prominent, but when you start flexing the muscles, you can really you use everything's happening at one time in my experience. But the premonition, it's there's a reason this is being coming through you in this way. And so I would start getting curious about surrounding that, about how, like, can you show me ways to work with this in a supportive way? Or what is the one of my main questions is like, what is the lesson my soul is trying to lead me towards in this dynamic or this experience? And I've gone through prescriptive, I like years and years ago, prescriptive meditations where you're like in a field and you ask a spirit guide to come forward. It didn't really, I mean, something did, but it didn't really connect for me that way. And what ended up connecting for me to be able to receive more guidance was having like more specificity surrounding it, and having it through coming like if there's a pain point in the body. This is like one that like really changed everything. I'll start there on like, show me the emotional root behind this pain point, or show me, just talk to me, tell me what you need me to know. And then under that layer, often we will receive visions that are connected to something else. And so it's like, it's just starting somewhere that like feels approachable to you. So the deer is perfect. I mean, they're coming. They're like, we're here. We want to work with you. And so there's this premonition piece. So it's like there's things to pull from, right? And so I would start a practice experimenting around maybe the premonition piece first. And you could even try another entry point into that. Like, I don't know, have you tried like automatic writing with it at all before?
No, I haven't tried that. No.
Yeah, so like you can start, so you start, it's kind of it the wherever they could, it could be coming from your divine self, it could be coming from, guides or whatever, but you start just asking questions, you start writing out and asking questions. Some stream of consciousness journaling before would prep you for that. So you'd mind dump for like pages, you just get it all out. Then you would start with your questions. And then you could then go into whatever meditative state you receive most. I would definitely take like one of the main premonitions that's come in and like try and work with it more. Like, I don't know, do you have understanding towards them after the fact once they already happen?
With the premonitions or with
Yeah.
the deer. Yeah, I'm able to sort of understand what the significance is of the premonitions when I do receive them. Um, it's not always premonitions, it's usually just kind of sensing into what is going on with other people or going on with my relationships with other people or what have you. But I started out with like this deer experiment as a sort of a thought experiment because I knew that I wanted to work with these subtle energies, but needed something to tether it to. I
Yeah.
thought, I was like, well, maybe it's just a coincidence you're seeing all these deer, like you go hiking, but this is like never having seen deer while
Yeah,
hiking.
I'm
And
valid.
it's
I'm
every
witnessing.
time
No, you're not making it
that
up.
has,
It's
it happens
happening.
every time. And I'll get a
Yeah.
certain feeling
Yeah.
as like a certain knowing.
Yeah.
And then it happens, and it sort of seems like it's connected to that. And I haven't tried engaging further, so this is really hopeful that
Well,
there
and
are.
the deer might be, so Riley's brought up a good point of like just like their symbols, their presence, just so that you know they're there, and like they're sending you loving energy, which I think you kind of spoke of. You were saying
Mhm,
that you do receive that from them. But they can be a spirit guide.
mhm.
So like you could ask the deer to come in and um I've worked with dragons. I've worked one of my main spirit guide teams are snakes. Which if I saw them in real life, like dude, I've seen little, like I do not want to have anything to do with them, but they're very connected to me, and so they'll come in all these different snakes, and they have different messages. They serve different purposes. So deer, like I know you asked for that, but that could also be something that your soul asked for, and you could be really connected to them. There's the white stag, and there's the whatever unicorns, and there's like all these different like iterations of what that could be. And so you could literally start trying to have a conversation with them in that moment when you see them. The premonition comes, they're coming. And then I would like maybe expand that conversation and really start getting clear on like, I almost feel like for it would be helpful. You mentioned this relationship or something, like you said, is when you started calling in, because we're on our knees, right? We're on our knees on the bathroom floor, and we're like, we can't do this another moment. We need, like, please help. It's like the ultimate, like, I don't like the word surrender because it's so militant, but in those moments, that's what it is. And so, and yeah, angels, they'll come in, right? Because we need it. but you don't want to be brought to your knees to be able to receive in that way. And so I would take something prominent in your life that's happening right now that you're really wanting support in and guidance in. And I would start expanding the conversation. I would ask the deer, like, what do I need to know? I'm open and ready to receive. Most of my guides, so just to let you know, like, one of my main lessons in this last decade was to become my own leader. So every guide that came in, they would never be prescriptive. It'd drive me crazy. What's the next step? Whatever you choose. It's your choice. Up until like literally a month ago, and there's been this shift. And then they were like, they started being prescriptive, and I was like, what's happening? But it was because I needed that lesson. They couldn't come in and tell me what to do. So they came in with lessons, life lessons, right? They were just general things about how to step more fully into my own, all these different ways. So for you, there could be some of that going on too, right? And we kind of have to, and so I would really take something that's in your face right now. And I would, yeah, the dragons are amazing. They're amazing. Riley, do you know that? Did you do? I don't know what's her. Dana. I can't see her name. There's like a deck that she exposed me to the Cooper, Dana Cooper. I don't know. She has a deck, dragon deck, and so, yeah, totally. Panther is another. The black jaguar, the panther. There's the spirit guidebooks you can get that would go more into, but I don't even think you need that. I think you just need like I'm going to write her name in here. If I got it right, I can't see. I can't see. So I would start building on it. And the questioning it's going to happen. It still happens. It still happens. I talked to Allison and I'm like, I don't know if this thing, it's like, yes, Allison shared one of her sound baths, the candle flickered when she was calling in her mom for some other energy. But she was like, did it flicker or did I just make that up? We all do it. It's so, so natural. So, but I think like you have such a good start and good foundation, and it sounds like you already are like so primed and prepped. And so I would start like trying to maybe focus it a little bit more.
Thank you. That's really helpful. And I noticed the more I've been working with it and then sort of starting out on first steps of sort of asking for more communication or more communications from my spirit guides, the more interactive it has become.
Yeah.
So I think in specific with the deer, it's like constantly appearing. Yeah, that gives me some good.
I think they want more from you too.
Yeah.
I would go next step with them.
Yeah.
You can also ask them to visit you. So like that 3 a.m. wake up for me is like, some people are like, absolutely not. You're not allowed upstairs and I'm sleeping. And like, but for me, that's the house is quiet and I'm really receptive and my mind doesn't start. It's like, oh, that's not true thing. So you could ask the deer to come visit you in the energetic field, in the quantum. I would ask it forward more in back. So you got the material and now I'd bring it back. I bring it back into the energetic. And if you do find yourself waking, sometimes I'll just like lay there and there's a prompt in the meditation tonight, but it's just like saying like, I'm open and ready to receive, and then just see what materializes. And you could also take it a step further with the deer spirit. You're like, I want to start working with you when you're present. Again, these things like the stair pop or the light flicker, like I have heaters in my workout room. They just started. And they'll like loud, like there is no mistaking that. And so you could start trying to attach it to something outside of the hike where you could be connecting with them. Yeah. So many places you could go. Thank you for asking that. And I'm excited for you. And I think it's amazing. And keep being curious and keep being your own experimenter, and don't doubt yourself. You will doubt yourself, but don't doubt yourself. Keep trusting in it. And write it down, like keep more, records for yourself, because it's really, really helpful to come back. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Anybody else? All right. So let's get into this meditation. I'm going to start the sound, and then you all are going to tell me, make sure that it's okay. Everything sounds okay. All right. Lay down if you can. Put in your earphones if you don't have them. Cover your eyes. Have your towel nearby. Wherever you find yourself, settle. Wherever you are, settle. Rock your shoulders side to side, your hips. Roll your ankles. Stretch out your hands. Unhinge your jaw. Settle. Like the most benevolent holder, place your hands on either side of your rib cage. And now, with your teeth lightly touching, express out all your air, hissing like a snake. Feel your natural contraction. And now purse your lips. Inhale like you're sucking through a straw. Feel your natural expansion. Out like a snake. How comfortable, capable, natural. In like a straw. How good it feels to hold yourself from side to side. And again, out like a snake. In the release. In like a straw. In the comeback. And now you may drop your hands and allow your breath to settle too. I told my daughter once this truth long ago. I told her, to me, you're infinite. I repeated it often, organically. It was so clear to me. And for the years since, she's carried it in ownership. It's become her truth. The thing she tells others, that it's the nicest thing anyone has ever said about her. And so, I want to begin here with you to tell you this truth. To me, you too are infinite. INFINITE. Like the most delicious light, let it infuse your heart space. Let the vastness, the energy of this word expand into breath. Allow the breath to travel into your hydrated fascia, your muscle and bone, into every organ, every cell, into all that you may feel is solid and all that you may know is ethereal. In this moment, you are given the opportunity, the freedom to become your own creator, to begin to build out the architecture of your mind. Perhaps you feel novice or veteran or somewhere in between. In this moment, it no longer matters what came before, only what you are willing to explore now. Often, when I access my third eye or my mind's eye, it feels less like a holographic projection out and more like a world filling out from within. Details come to life in an open dome within the shape of my head. Other times the scene is accessed through another part of my body, like my throat, my ankle, my left knee. And so, right now, when I say, picture yourself walking into a familiar outdoor setting, one that is meaningful on the material plane for its beauty or comfort, or simply because it's known, the picture you step into, the one you see yourself enter now, is not confined to any prescriptive area or access point from your body. If nothing fills out from your mind's eye, try scanning internal, inside your head cavity, or over various places on your body until you touch something that feels right. What works today might not tomorrow. The access point might change, but believe me, there is always a key and always a door waiting to be unlocked by you. You hold the key. Use it. Open your portal. Step inside. You're settling into this outdoor setting now. You feel the earth beneath your feet. You ground. Your hands play lightly over the soft grass, like a picture taking shape. Allow the scene to fill in with detail. Is it nighttime with a clear starry sky, or just past dawn? The horizon stretching into a sherbet-colored palette. Are there fall leaves adorning your hair, or something supple and fragrant on the breeze? Perhaps you find yourself in your childhood backyard, or at the base of a wise and ancient tree you visit throughout your week. You may also discover yourself in a space completely of your own making, foreign, yet familiar. In this space is where we begin our return home. Right back to our own unique essence, to our soul's story. If it isn't already present, you now notice a breeze moves in, gentle, yet it carries an undeniable swiftness to its intention. It wraps around your form easily and effortlessly, clearing the cobwebs, any stuck stagnant tension in the body, any sadness in the mind, any silencing of the soul. You may choose to picture your body like a rock canyon full of nooks and crannies, pleasing lines and lyrical shapes, all openings for the wind to work its magical ability. To clear without force, to clear without harm. You shake off the worries of the day, the hard conversation, the always and never statements, the part of your life that feels like you'll be stuck there forever. The wind or earth or sky easily absorbs this energy. It transmutes it, beauty for all living things. And you become aware of expanding, that within the clearing, you begin to create space within yourself to connect back. As you look in front of you towards the next right step, you notice a large body of water appears. This body of water can be a glacial lake or a mineral-rich hot spring. It can be a peaceful inlet that's part of a larger ocean. If a man-made pool feels best, one created with intricate dark blue, lapis-colored tiles, then let it be. Allow your most supported body of water to form. Allow your gaze to scan the surroundings. Direct your mind to continue to build out its unique architecture. Perhaps a rocky shore takes shape. Higher cliffs form around your lake, filled with the crisp bite of expansive evergreens. Perhaps sun-ripened plum trees line your pool. Large bushes of fragrant lavender spill over clay planter boxes. Once your body of water is filled out, you find it's only natural to heed its call. The way your body already knows it'll be safe to dive into its depths, that the water's expanse is capable to hold all of you, all of your parts, even the ones, maybe especially the ones you don't want anyone else to see, not even yourself. You walk to the body of your shores and dip your toes into the clear waters. The temperature becomes whatever feels most comforting. You wade out to waist height. You express all your air. Take a deep breath, and then you dive under. You may want to surface quickly and roll over onto your back and float. All the buoyant waters show you that it's quite possible to feel fully supported. Or you may decide to swim to the darkest depths and see what is revealed. This area of the unknown is often where we find our shadows, our exiled parts, the ones we've cut off or denied or shamed to stay safe. There's space now, if you so choose, to allow your shadow to be seen, to ask it to step forward, to call it by its name, to ask it what it needs you to know. A memory from the past may appear, something painful that needs your care. This is where we ask, what lesson was my soul trying to lead me towards? Witness, grieve, purge, transmute, mend, integrate. I found I'm often called to submerge my face under the water and scream out all the confusion, the words left unsaid, the misunderstandings, the parts of your life where you feel unacknowledged, discounted, undervalued, unseen. Maybe you feel a mass that's formed in your throat and you're not sure of its root, where it began, with whom and for what, but you find it's impossible to swallow it down. And so you scream. Below the anger is often fear. Below the fear is often sadness. The water can handle whatever you give it. It accepts all of you. Release whatever is asking to be let go of. The water will take it, transmute it, create it into something nourishing and new. If you aren't already, it's time to roll onto your back in your water body. And just like water's natural state, you allow it to take you into its flow towards another opening. You allow it to float your body onto a river downstream. You find you like the change of pace, the movement, the way you can be both in motion and at ease. You're completely safe and surrounded as you let the swiftness of the river carry you. You may find yourself gliding around rocks, down small inclines. You may move the way a leaf would, a piece of beautiful driftwood. Another understanding comes to you in this moment. Something about the way when you open your palm, all that you were so desperately grasping and holding too tightly suddenly ceases to have such a strong hold over you. You know the ways of your body, the way it mimics the bodies of water. And as you drift downstream, you hear the call of the roar, the way the energy builds and builds until it's time to take the leap or fall, or sometimes they can feel the same way because they both require you to say yes to the game of life. Say yes to the game of life. As the river reaches a crescendo, it opens its mouth into a heavenly waterfall. No one is forcing you. You won't be pushed. But are you willing to turn your back, to release into the ultimate trust fall? It's a good practice, this type of letting go. A belief that no matter the height of the drop, no matter that you cannot see what may lie on the other side, There will always be a net to catch you. It's good practice for the mind to experience what it's actually like to let go. And so you do, like a baby turns head down before its descent through the canal. You practice this now. You turn so your head is down and you wash over the mouth of the waterfall. And just like that, you notice it's not so scary after all, because all the fears, all the what ifs were just that, fears, what ifs. And then within the letting go, the in-between before you land, you're given something, a gift not yet imagined, a moment where you feel all the weight of the material world, of the burden you carry, simply fall away. And though it is a fall, through a shift in perspective, it can also be seen as flight. The long crystal waters slide you down like a chute into the enchanted plunge pool below. You're held upon the surface, cradled in loving hands. You're filled from toes to head and heads to toes with your own vibrant light. You didn't know it at the start, just like we never do. But on the other side was the ultimate rebirth. You, birthing you. You may now feel drawn to ask the water a question. Ask about its memories, its record keeping of the world. Ask what it wants you to know. You may ask, and then it's not so much the need to listen, it's more another kind of release. Releasing control, expectations, releasing any of the mind's logic, releasing the need for a message or a sign or vision to appear a certain way for it to be true, for it to be your truth. It's more dissolving into a form that says yes to receive, and then is willing to lay as the medium in the in-between, in the unknown, until it reveals itself to you, until it communicates through you. So you may ask the water a question, or you may say the phrase, I am open and ready to receive. For the soul's messages, the language of the universe, they come in many forms. The mode of communication can be symbols, colors, words, impressions, sensations, scent, temperature, lyrics, sounds, vibration, another person or spirit being, a place, a memory you haven't thought of in years, your divine self, your intuitive senses, your spirit guides, supernatural beings, ascended ancestors. They want to be in conversation with you. And like any relationship, it takes time and intention, practice to learn the other. And now allow for it. Allow for the unfolding, for your soul's story, the language of the universe to come through you. told my daughter once this truth long ago. I told her, to me, you're infinite. I repeated it often, organically. It was so clear to me. And for the years since, she's carried it in ownership. It's become her truth. The thing she tells others, that it's the nicest thing anyone has ever said about her. And so, I want to end here with you to tell you this truth. To me, you too are infinite. I, N, F, I, N, I, T, E. What would it mean if you believed you are infinite too?